button. Make sure you are subscribing to the football. Terrace, speaking of Chelsea, we may as well stay on them. A report came out today that from Simon Phillips, who stated that Man City and Liverpool have made an inquiry about a potential deal to sign Cole Palmer this summer. Are you a little concerned with some of the stories relating to Chelsea's sort of buy to sell model, that if City or Liverpool came in with big money, that you could lose Palmer this summer to a bigger club?
Nah, I'm not worried about that. You know, if you want to buy Cole Palmer right now, put 150 million on the table, bro. You know, then we can talk, right? Because this guy's locked in till the 2030s. So even if you wanted to leave, the club has all the control right now. All the control right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the thing about Clear Lake as well, Terry, as much as they like their profits and whatnot, their asset management company, when they love you and they fuck with you, they make you untouchable, bro. Right? There's many examples of that. You know, Colwell was one that they were saying is not for sale. I'm seeing a few reports again. Bayern Munich apparently looking at him. Again, it's been shut down saying he's not for sale whatsoever. Andre Santos, another one they're saying is definitely not for sale. Last season, a couple clubs tried to buy him. We said no. Palmer, of course, he's not for sale. Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo. There's a couple men in this team that you can't touch them, right? Whereas the likes of Madueke's, you know, the likes of maybe even Jackson, I reckon, maybe. These are the sort of guys where they might be a little bit open to it, innit? You know what I mean? But again, if you want Cole Palmer right now, put the money on the table, then we'll talk. But you're not going to put that money on the table. You're not going to do it.
What if this side of things, Lawless? What if Chelsea's season ends in disappointment? Could Cole Palmer start looking and pushing for a move to get himself into a better side, a bigger club, a team that could legitimately challenge to win the Premier League or the Champions League next season? Because I get Chelsea won't want to sell him, but if a player starts to, could Palmer's head be turned in your opinion, Lawless?
Yeah, listen, they could have a 20-year contract, all they want, right? Like, at the end of the day, if the player really wants to leave and kicks up a fuss, it makes things difficult because then it disrupts the team. It causes problems in the dressing room, all of that stuff. You don't want a player that don't want to be there, especially one that hasn't been contributing in the level that you feel that he can and should be contributing. So Chelsea should potentially cash in. Like, I don't know what their finances are looking like in the summer, right? I don't know how many more hotels they've got, you know what I mean, on Mayfair and Park Lane and all of this. But at the end of the day, like, you know, if they have to sell, if they need to raise money, these players like Colwell, like, why is Colwell like an unsellable? Like, I just have to question Chelsea. Like, if they just got this just endless pot of money, they can just keep splashing and don't need to sell players. Like Palmer
That's so funny about you. Talk about recency bias, yeah, and then in the same breath, you're like, oh yeah, Palmer hasn't been playing great. You know, hasn't been playing great lately. Sell it, just get rid of him. You know,
no, I'm not saying like what I'm saying is, if the price is right, listen, 150 mil is mad. Like if Liverpool say come in 100 mil, if say Liverpool come in 100 mil, and Chelsea don't have this bottomless pit of money and endless row of hotels, I think it's something that should be considered. I don't think that he should be listed as an unsellable superstar, because at the end of the day, you don't know when or if he's going to get his form back. You don't know if he can be relied on season in, season out to be the guy. And you don't know if his stocks are going to keep falling, and you're not going to get that chance again to sell.
Don't be ridiculous, man. As much as Palmer hasn't been as great as he was last season, Lawless, right? There's two things here. He's created a lot for people that keep missing, and him himself has missed a lot of big chances, right? That's something that he can fix, bro. That goes down to confidence. That goes down to, you know, making better decisions. That goes down to buying players like fucking strikers that can finish, right? Better box presence. These things will all help him, yeah? But if obviously Chelsea carry on in this way where we don't make Champions League, it carries on like this, of course he'll be more open to leaving. But right now, bro, it's way too early for that, man.
There's a good chance. Let's be real, then. It's very likely that you're going to miss out on Champions League this season. It's looking very, very likely.
I don't know about very likely, because everyone around us is as inconsistent as us. You know, I know we've got some tough fixtures and that. You're looking at it on paper, but everyone around us is inconsistent, bro.
I don't think that's true. You look at the results, yeah. Newcastle, they won like 5-6 in a row, got their first loss, I think, to Villa. Villa won like 5-6 in a row, got their first loss to, I can't remember what the last game was, but they lost their last game. To Man City, that's it, yeah. Man City haven't lost in a while. Forest, a little bit more inconsistent, but more consistent than you. Like, out of all the teams in that race, Chelsea are by far the most inconsistent. So I think you should be very worried. And like I said, it's looking highly unlikely at this moment. You've got tough fixtures to come.
Yeah,
I mean, Everton at home, Liverpool at home.
Yeah, we've got Everton at home. We've got Everton at home, obviously, tomorrow. They're missing Tawolski, bro. That's a big blow. I saw that he's played the most games without being dropped. 111 games or something like that. He's beat Van Dijk's record, right? I think Van Dijk's second. And yeah, he's a massive blow for them, bro, because he's sick in it, like in the air, in both boxes. He's definitely a threat. Defensively, again, he helps them with their low block and whatnot. So that's going to be a massive blow for them. But at the same time, you're right. We need to beat Tawolski, James Tawolski. Yeah, we need to beat Newcastle away. We need to beat Newcastle away. And last game of the season, hopefully, would have made it by then. But we need to beat Forest. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, right? I know, but like we know what you need to do, Don. But what you need to do and what you probably will do are two different things, and that's the thing. And like we've seen nothing from this Chelsea side in a while to give us any confidence or belief that you can do it and you can go and do it. We know your record against Everton is sketchy. Then you got in Liverpool. Then you got
sketchy. How's it sketchy, bro? We've got like 6 wins or something like that out of our last 10 games.
I think. Well, I mean, overall, like, I mean, I don't know. Now
you're waffling again. It's away.
We've had this conversation before. Wait, this is what you do. You sit there.
We tend to beat Everton, bro.
Wait, before the last Everton game,
hang on, guys. So let's put this into context. So since December 2020, Chelsea have played Everton 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. They've won 3 of them, lost 3 of them. Sorry, they played them. 8 times. They've lost 3,
lost 3.
9 times since December 2020. From that season, in the last 5 seasons, sorry, I think of 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. In the last 9 games against them, in the last 5 seasons, it obviously that you've drawn 3, won 3, lost 3.
Yes, away. Goodison Park.
No, don't apologize. Right now, because you just said we tend to beat Everton. In the last 10 games, we mostly beat them. You're waffling. You're waffling. You only beat them 3 times.
Bro, I literally just said to you that Goodison Park is where we tend to struggle against Everton. Our record at Goodison Park ain't great. It's not great.
In the 4 home games, though, in those 5 seasons, it's 2 wins, 2 draws.
Yeah, we haven't lost. We haven't lost. You're making it out like we've lost against them. That's the point I was making. You
need to win, Don.
I know we need to win, Lawless, and we beat them last season. Hold on, Lawless. We beat them last season 6-0. Cole Palmer scored 4 goals. He scored a 30-minute hat trick. He even scored from the halfway line.
This is not that Chelsea team. You ain't Cole Palmer.
You've only got 4 wins against Everton, home and away, since 2017.
That's what I'm saying.
I apologize right now. Don't ever say I'm waffling again when I'm not waffling.
Lawless, you're not even let me land, bro.
No, because I don't want you to land until you apologize.
If you go read those losses, I promise you they're all at fucking Goodison Park, bro. Yeah.
So hang on. So this again, but he says sketchy record. He didn't say losses. So I mean, the 4 wins you've had against them, it's since 2017. Have all 3 of them have been at Stamford Bridge. 1 of them was away at Goodison Park. But if we just look at your Stamford Bridge performances in that period, it's one draw. I'm going to add them up as I go along here. So 1 draw, a win, a draw, and the last game was a win, the big one, 6-0. So the last 5 home games against them, you've won 3 and drawn 2. Going into this one, so
that's the point I was making. Like when I say we tend to beat them, that is the point I was making, because I told you Goodison Park is where we struggle against them, bro.
Yeah, but Don, you act like you're dominant.
Goodison Park, no, I never said we're dominant. You're trying to change my words. You're trying to change my words, bro. Yeah,
no, I'm not. Like I sat there and said you've got a sketchy record. You was like, no, you said you never. Wait, hold up.
Record away,
you never said, Don. Let's rewind. You never said this, right? So when I said sketchy, you was like. Sketchy record against Everton. We tend to beat Everton. You're just waffling. You never put the asterisk at home. And
I I literally said that. You following my point?
And
I
Don,
literally said that.
but your record against them at home isn't even
right, Steph.
dominant.
Mate.
Yeah, all right, cool. You can talk. You could talk about it being dominant or whatever, but we haven't lost against them in the last 6 games at the Bridge, right?
Don,
This time around, it needs to be in our last 7 games. It needs to be 4 wins, like Lawless, instead of 3. Yeah, it needs to be 4 wins and 3 draws, and that will make you happy. You know what I'm saying, right? Because last season we battered them 6-0. You know what I mean? You know about holding 5 at the Bridge, so I'm hoping we can do the same.
You're not that Chelsea anymore. That's dead. Forget that.
You're
living in the past.
But hold on, bro. You're going on like this. There isn't other guys in this team that can do something in front of goal and haven't been doing something in front of goal, bro. I'm not just depending on Cole Palmer, but I need him to rise. I need him to rise.
This Everton game, we ain't looking at this as a clear Chelsea win. Like, this is going to be a very difficult game for Chelsea. And after that, you've got more, even harder games. So my point is, you can sit there and tell us what you've done last season and all the goals you scored and how brilliant it was. This season, right now, you ain't doing it, Don. So it's very unlikely you're going to get Champions League. Okay? So
what happens if we beat them? What happens if we beat them then? What happens if we beat them then?
What do you mean? What happens if you beat them? You get 3 points. You get 3 points. That's what happens.
You see what I'm saying, right?
No, you get 3 points.
Let me just cut him for a minute.